Gidi Vakarja, agus Falcha Arash, Michal here from Grinds 360. So we're going to continue on with our Ruán and Cúan. We're going to talk about Lishin and we're going to talk about Hurlamaboc. Now, before we get started, I'm going to ask you a question. Out of all the thousands of names that have ever existed in Ireland, on the island of Ireland, we've had Nisha, Grania, Diarmid, Deirdre, Sean, Oisin, Neve. Why did the author pick Ruán and Cúan? Why did she pick names that rhymed Ru and Cú? Out of the thousands of names that we have on the island, why something that rhymes? So what I want you to do is have a think about that, and I'm going to explain this at the very end of our video for today's class. Again, something that we can actually just add onto our exam papers. So again, we're going to start on page 37. We're going to look at the relationship between Ruán and Cúan. Now, Hurlamaboc has been one of the most common questions on the Leaving Cert paper, and Ruán and Cúan form a big part of Lishin's life. So I'm going to get you to put an ND beside that for 1 second. Now, let's get started on this. So I'm going to highlight the first part for you. We're going to go for an Mac Aboige, which means the youngest son. So Bhí Mac Aboige, the youngest son was. And then we have the word here, Ag Tnú Gomor, looking forward to, really looking forward to. Bhí sé Ag Tnú Gomor leis an Féiste. Now there's one little bit here, right? I'm going to highlight the word Féiste. I know that you know the word kosher in Irish, and kosher is a fantastic word to have. However, if we were looking for something a little bit more higher and to give the examiner something that they haven't really maybe seen from exams and from students, Féiste is a lovely word, and it's not a huge complicated word either. So simple swaps like that can actually push you from that H3 up to H2, or maybe you want to go from the H2 to the H1. It's all about nice, small, little, simple bits of vocab, and that's what I've got in this for you as well. So underline that word Féiste for me. So he was looking forward to the party. I'm going to go for the middle part here, go meach sé. This is a conditional, it means that it would be. So that it would be. And the first part then we have is heal sé. Now heal means he thought, right? So heal sé, he thought, go meach sé, that it would be cool. And we do actually get to use the word cool because she uses it in her novel. Now we're going to go for the eldest son, whose name is Ruán. So we have an Mac Bahinne. Now I know that you know the words Nisoige and Isoige and Nishina and Ishina, and they're perfect. They're really, really good pieces of vocab to have. But I'm just going to swap it out for you a little bit more. So on Mac Bahinne, the eldest son Ruán, he's 18 years of age. Now, Ruán is our sock. What does our sock mean? Well, if you look at the first part, you can see the word ours, and ours means doubt. So our sock means doubtful. He was our sock faoin gosher. He was doubtful about the party. And if you feel that you can add on this little bit, that's in grey. I'm going to highlight it for you. I really would love if you could try to use these in your exams. Idir gachian na ma means between two minds. He was uncertain, he was unsure. Now the reason why I'm using this for you is I know you know the word kinche. In Irish, tá me kinche or níl me kinche. If you're looking for something that's a little bit better, idir gachian na ma, and I want you to use this for the orals as well. So for example, how was your weekend? Or what did you do at the weekend? Or where would you like to go after the Leaving Cert? And you may want to say, I'm not really too sure. Tá me idir gachian na ma. Tá me idir gachian na ma. A fantastic phrase to have. Now, bhí strus in bhráte. I'm going to get you to highlight the word in bhráte because I've never actually seen this on the Leaving Cert paper, bar my own students. But in bhráte means palpable. So if you put the two words together, right, bhí strus in bhráte means there was a palpable stress on Ruán. Again, it takes us away from using words like more meaning big or olvor meaning huge. And I'm going to highlight this word here, imlína, for you as well. Imlína means this year. Now very often I'd hear students say an bhliain seo for this year, and that's perfect, but it kind of is not really a phrase that most native speakers would use. If you want something that a native speaker would use in Irish, imlína is the word that they would use for this year. And then Morjaul an artist, due to the Leaving Cert, because of the Leaving Cert. Now we have Fechamwich go raibh Lishin I gceannas ar amach. We've already talked about that in a previous video. Now I gceannas ar is a very, very common concept of Lishin. It means in charge of, in control of, and we need this phrase an awful lot for Lishin because she's in control of everything. Nor nach raibh Ruán Leidir galore le seasamh suas dá bháthair. Now, Leidir galore, let's go for this one here. Leidir galore means strong enough. So when Ruán wasn't strong enough, le seasamh suas, to stand up. Le seasamh suas dá bháthair, to stand up to his mother. So when he wasn't strong enough to stand up to Lishin. I'm going to give you two words here for reluctant in Irish. You've got leisce, you've got druggle. Use one, use the other, or use both if you're really pushing for the high grades. So bhí leisce agus druggle i Ruán. Ruán was reluctant. And then a thuairimí a léirú, to show his opinions. Now, can you translate that for me, right? A thuairimí a léirú. Let's go for the a léirú part, which means to show. And the a thuairimí means his opinions. It's an infinitive in Irish. So to show his opinions, da wahir, to his mother. We've already had this phrase again, so I'm going to highlight this in yellow for you as well. Go meach an céileadú, that the party would be. That the party would be. We've already used this a couple of seconds ago, right up here. I'm just going to put a little bit of red up on it for you. So go meach sé, we have it here again. And a little bit of a spoiler, I'm going to use it again down here. So it's a phrase you're going to see coming up over and over again in the notes, so it's well worth knowing. So híl sé, we know means he thought. Go meach an céileadú, that the party would be. And we can use this word here, gahanish. Gahanish means awful, miserable, or just terrible. You might have the word ufásach, and if you have ufásach, that's great, but we can actually just swap it out for gahanish instead. Now let's go for the middle bit here. A bhí á fleanáil ag an bháthair, which was being planned by his mother. Again, it's not necessary for the sentence. If you feel like you can manage it, put it in. If you feel like, you know, Michal, it's actually enough, it's grand, I'm happy with that sentence as it is, that's perfectly normal too, you can leave it out. So which was being planned by his mother. What have you done for me? Very, very quickly, right? You have used the word up here, festa, which means party. You then gave me the word kosher, which means party. But you have also given me this word here, céileadú, which means party or celebration. So straight away, I have a student now who can give me 3 synonyms for party. That's what's going to push our marks up. Not long-winded sentences, not complicated sentences, but show me a flair for vocab. Right, let's keep going with this. Dúirt. So, he said, dúirt. Go meach sé cool, that it would be cool. Tusk go raibh scion air. Because he was afraid. Tusk go raibh scion air. Now I'm going to just put a little bit of red on the word scion for you. Scion means afraid. Now if I was to ask you what's another word that you would have for afraid in Irish, I guarantee you everyone would say to me, ogla. And you're right, ogla is perfect. But if you're looking for something different, take out that word ogla and pop in the word scion. So he was afraid, he was terrified. Asaintu lena water. Now asaintu means to disagree. Asaintu lena water, to disagree with his mother. Now I love this phrase, and you're going to see this in my notes, essays, books, everywhere. Daintin a feirne means to be upfront, to be straight with you, to be honest. And again, if I was to ask you what is the most common way to say to be upfront with you in Irish or to tell you the truth, you'd probably tell me chunan irnia a ra or chunan irnia a insint, and they're fantastic phrases. They're really, really good. But again, daintin a feirne adds that little bit of an edge. So to be honest, cheap sé go meach sé. He thought that it would be. Go meach sé. There's that phrase we're using over and over again. That it would be. Go meach sé crap. And again, we can use the word crap because she uses it in the book. Now, the middle part we have here, we have the word neart. Neart means strength or courage. Neart to be in Ruán. There was no strength in Ruán. An rud chrí a rá, to say what's on his heart, which is a lovely phrase that we have in Irish. In English, you use a phrase to say what's on your mind. That's really, really nice. But an rud atá chrí a rá, to say what's on his heart, to say what he's really feeling. He was terrified of Lishin. And we have this word here, an nos. Now, an nos, will you underline it for me? Such a simple spelling. Nos is the word for a tradition, habit, or custom. And again, if you get mixed up, maybe if you're spelling the word tradition, and maybe if you're confused between you fada in and you fada in, and is there a fada, is there not, is there a you, use the word nos, 3 letters, no fada s, and that's how we can get around that one there. So if you have nos, shin, egg, gach, then everyone had that habit, everyone had that custom. They were terrified of Lishin. This is a standard Michal phrase that I use over and over again. Is féidir achiv. We're able to argue, we're able to claim, we're able to attest, and I use that in poems, stories, essays. I even use it in the orals as well. So it's a really handy phrase to have. So we can claim go raibh Lishin, that Lishin was, and there's our phrase again, Igyanis in control of, in charge of, Mick, her sons. More, ní raibh siad ábalta, we know ábalta is the word for able, so ní raibh siad ábalta, they were not able, on Irinne a rá, to say the truth, to tell the truth. Can you do me a favor, will you underline that word a rá? A rá means to say. So an Irinne a rá, to say the truth. It's an example of the infinitive in Irish, but what I really like here is that word os ard, to say out loud. So an Irinne a rá, os ard, to say the truth out loud. Lena Maher with their mother. Now, Ballier, it was obvious, it was clear. Go raibh cinál de agla Ruán. Now I'm going to highlight the word agla. So go raibh cinál de agla, that there was a type of fear, that there was a kind of fear. So it was obvious that there was a kind of fear on Ruán. He was kind of something very, very fearful of his mother. So there was a type of fear. Now we've used the word scion a couple of seconds ago. So as an examiner, I am noting absolutely everything that you're doing. Scion for terror, agla for fear, and you're standing out as a very, very top high-level student. We're going to use the word again in vrace because I really like that word. I don't see it very often. In vrace means palpable, huge, massive. So chuirle sin brú in vrace. She put a huge stress, a palpable stress on Ruán san test in the Leaving Cert. Now, Ruán was quite confused. Ruán didn't know, like, why are you putting so much pressure on me? So we're going to say this for our examiner now. Níor hig Ruán. Ruán did not understand. Past tense. So níor hig Ruán. Ruán did not understand, and we're going to go for cén fá. Why? Now I'm going to use two types of cén fá here. So cén fá and cén fá. Why? Let's go for the first one. Cén fá chuirse brú. Why? She put pressure on him. And if you feel like you can manage the next part in grey, let's go for it. Cén fá chothig sí. Now the word chothig that we have here, this one here, that means promoted. So cén fá chothig, why she promoted, and lagvishnach. Do me a favour, underline that word lagvishnach, because we've already seen this in Gavin when we were talking about the line. The line has a lot of lagvishnach. It's made up of two words, lag meaning weak, and mishnach meaning courage. So if you put the two of these together, lagvishnach, it means weak of courage, weak-hearted. So why she promoted a weak-heartedness, why she promoted kind of despondency in him. And a verb that I absolutely love, and I tend to use this so often in the notes as well, grísig. Grísig means to flare up, to encourage, or maybe to incite. So grísig she Ruán, she encouraged Ruán for two things, right? She encouraged him. I know for a fact, every single one of you know this word, forfa. Forfa means perfect. Leve forfa, to be perfect. But if you're looking to stand out a little bit more, I've got two lovely phrases for you here. See the word gan lucht? Gan lucht means flawless. And so does gan lear. Gan lear also means flawless. You can use one, you can use the other, or you can use both if you'd like, or you could actually use all three. She put pressure on Ruán leve forfa, to be perfect, gan lucht, flawless, and gan lear, flawless. Is cosúil. It seems as if, it looks as if, or it sounds as if. Is cosúil. Nar thug sí cluas do Ruán. Now you know the word cluas, don't you? Cluas is the word for an ear. You have a very famous expression in English, friends and enemies, lend me your ears. We have that expression in Irish. What's it mean? It means to listen. So nar thug sí cluas do Ruán. Technical translation, that she didn't give an ear to Ruán, but a more proper translation, that she didn't listen to him. Nar thug sí cluas do Ruán, that she didn't listen to Ruán, and nar larg she, that she didn't seek, that she didn't look for. Larg is to look for in Irish. So nar larg she, that she didn't look for a chid tuair me, his opinions. And again, if you want to continue on the sentence, you can put in the word chur bit, which means whatsoever. Now, almost there. Two more lines, and then this is Ruán and Cúan, done and dusted. See the word space, interest. Now, I know you know the word space, and if I was in a classroom with you, I would say, do you have any other words for interest in Irish? And most of you put up your hand and say sim. Sim and space, two words for interest, and they're deadly. They're fantastic words. I love them. But my job is to actually give you a little bit better. My job is to give you kind of better words that examiners haven't seen. So Can you underline this word here? Dúil, D-U-F-I-L. Only 4 letters. Right? So even smaller than the word space if you were to look at this, but again, that's going to stand out a mile to an examiner because it's not something that we would see. So let's put the sentence together. Near her, she, space, not dúil. She didn't put an interest. Use space, use dúil, use both, depending on the type of grade you're going for. So she didn't put an interest in a chuid fáibeanna pársada, in his personal life, in his personal problems. She didn't really kind of care about him at all. She blew more milchnach. So where did she put the pressure? Again, we know the word brew, or strus means pressure. And what we're not going to do is we're not going to use the word more or ulvor, because that's what your examiner is expecting. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this word here again. More milchach, which is another variation, it means massive. So she blew more milchach. She put massive pressure, amok, on her son. And then we have that nice phrase again we had a couple of seconds ago that we had here, le bheith to be perfect. But again, don't forget, you can use gan lucht and gan lar, 2 lovely phrases. Use 1, use 2, use all 3. Go nuts. So le bheith to be perfect, but the most important thing from here, right, will you underline this? Lishin wanted people to be like Lishin. So we're going to put in this, nos ifein, like herself. So she wanted everybody to be perfect like herself. And finally, the last line that we have is sator I'm going to use this everywhere in our course, so it's probably worth knowing it now. Sator on the hunt for, on the chase for, or in the pursuit of. Any of those translations will be perfect. So ta lishin, lishin is sa tor on the hunt for, and the most important thing that lishin is on the hunt for, farfacht, perfection. But Lena Clan, with her family, with her kids. Now, as I said, Ruán and Cúan form a big chunk of Lishin's personality. We know that there's Paul, we know that there's the women on the street, but Ruán and Cúan are actually needed for an awful lot of this. Out of all the questions that have came up for Hurlamaboc over the years, we have always looked for the input on Ruán and Cúan. Now, quick question, do you need to know all of this? Absolutely not. Pick the sentences that you like, pick the phrases that you like, pick what you find easy to work with. Right folks, that's Ruán and Cúan done and dusted. Don't forget, every time you revise with me, make sure you put a tick so you know what we've done and what we haven't done towards the end of this. A chairde, gur míle maith.